Hey, thanks again for pressing play, and welcome once again to another edition of the Suns Jam Session Podcast, the original post-game podcast on Planet Orange, brought to you by FanDuel and on the BLEAV Podcast Network. Appreciate you hanging out on this Friday evening after the Suns go into Oklahoma City and play a team that is 18-1. And they take them the full length. They take them to the final minute, ultimately losing 123-119, but they take them that far. So we're going to talk about that and much more on this edition of the Suns Jam Session Podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you rate. Make sure you review. Make sure you put in the effort that you saw the Phoenix Suns put in tonight.
Session Podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.
Matthew, what's going on?
Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm good. How was
I love
your turkey day?
You love like, hey, how's it going? It's like we just answered the phone.
Yeah, it's like,
hey,
hello.
How you doing? This is great. I love it.
Hello, is Matthew there?
Yeah. 1 second.
Oh, okay. I'll wait. Matthew?
Yeah. Hey.
Oh,
turkey
hi.
day?
How you doing, man? Can you come out and play today?
I sure can. I sure can.
Dude, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Thanks for not putting me on hold, but I appreciate it. No, a great game tonight. A lot more entertaining than I kind of expected, and that brings me into my first question.
Matthew, I've got to ask.
Matthew, I got to ask. I know there's no such things as moral victories, but losing by 4 points on the road against the defending NBA champions and a team that entered an 18-1, is this a moral victory for the Suns?
I don't think so. I think it's a more frustrating victory for the Suns. And I think it's just two guys, Dillon Brooks and Devin Booker, didn't really have their all in the second half. And I think you can kind of blame them for the loss here. Like, if it was an all-out effort, we got it. Everyone's great. Like their best game out of them than the two stars that we do have right now, and Dillon Brooks and Devin Booker, which Dillon Brooks is not a star, but he's our star, right? He's our second guy. Those two guys, if they're coming through and it's just like, oh, fuck, then yeah, maybe a moral. But for me, I don't think so. I think this was actually a disappointing loss.
Oh, see, I don't think so at all. I go the other way. Again, it's hard to say moral victory because at the end of the day, when the final standings are sitting there at April and we're looking at them, moral victories don't add anything. But I think for a team that's looking to develop identity and culture and all the things that they've been doing thus far this year and have been executing as such, this is another step in the right direction because, as you mentioned, like Devin Booker, not the greatest game, Dillon Brooks, not the greatest game, but I feel like in order to beat OKC, you need to have team effort and everybody has to be locked in because that's how they beat you. They're a team in every sense of the word. They have a superstar on their team who acts like a superstar, and you get kind of jealous, right? Because you do see in crucial moments, SGA brings the ball up, he dribbles between his legs once, he dribbles between his legs twice, and then just pops a three in your face and walks down the court. And you're like, fuck me, man. Why can't Devin Booker just do that? Why can't he be that? But I think from a 30,000-foot view looking down upon who and what this team is, I think that even though Devin Booker didn't have the greatest game, I think that if this team were to stand any chance, they had to execute like they did. They had to have team play across the board. You could, in small games like this, small margins of defeat, you can look at like three different things because you can sit there and say, yeah, Devin Booker didn't have it tonight, and that's why we lost. And I can say, well, the fact that we turned the ball over 20 times and they only turned it over 10 is why we lost. And you could sit there and say, yeah, Dillon Brooks, individual performance, not necessarily great. Only 19 points from him, but it took 18 shots to get there. And I could sit there and be like, yeah, the Suns shot 34% from beyond the arc as a team, and that's below their season averages. So there's a lot of different reasonings as to why they lost this game. But again, as I take a look at it, it's a step in the right direction for this team because I was really interested to see how they can compete against the team's best because of the style the Suns play. because the Suns are a minor league version of OKC. They don't have the length of the talent that both that are possessed by OKC, but at the same time, we have the attitude that is possessed by OKC, and I want to see how that equated or performed on the court tonight. And I was surprised, and I was delighted to see that.
Yeah, and subreddit, there were some fans that were giving their condolences to our loss, and they were saying, we'll see you probably in the playoffs. It might happen. But the disappointing part really is just because I've said it a few times where I just think this team kind of belongs in these games, and I think the team needs to start playing that way.
Allow me to
I don't know why I did that.
Oh, it's fine. I did that before too. I did that to who do we have on Suns Worldwide? I pre-ejaculated a book one right in his face. It hurts, dude.
But we were in this game, though. That's the thing. It's like you're saying, like this is we should be in this game, like, but we were in this game.
No, I was saying that we have to act like we belong. Like there's certain stretches, especially in that second quarter. Oh, I'm sorry, the third quarter, where the turnovers. What we have, like 10 in the third quarter, something crazy. Like it's just like the passes, the beginning of games where it just seems like we're frantic, we're anxious at times to really kind of get things going, and we just do too much. Right? We settle in eventually, but those are the parts of the games where you have to realize like you belong in this game, and I think they have to find that identity. I think that's the next thing really for this team. Obviously, you're not going to win a championship this year. But you have to know that you're going to belong in this game. You don't have to force so many passes. You don't have to do too much. Like, play your own game. We have the right guys in the lineup. We have the right guys coming in off the bench. Just do what you've been doing all season long, and I think they'll get comfortable with that. That's why it's just disappointing to me, because it could be a thing that the Thunder were underestimating them in a way. Kind of Jalen Williams comes back, so they have to kind of adapt to that. So maybe they're just not playing as good too on their end because they have to adapt to him coming back into the lineup. But with Devin Booker and, the rest, and Dylan Brooks just not having their best game, with all the other guys having their best all-out effort, it's kind of a letdown to me.
So do you think that when they look up at this scoreboard and they see 123 to 119, do you feel like they're like, okay, because like you said, they should feel like they should be in this game, and maybe that's a step in the right, and this is a step in the right direction. Do you feel like after they see this result, they realize that, yes, they should and could be in this game moving forward, and they should be in the conversation for one of the top tier teams in the Western Conference and the NBA for that matter?
I think something happens where they're close in the games down the first half with these teams, and I think they get kind of overexcited, like I said, a little anxious, to where they don't. Maybe it's like imposter syndrome a little bit with these guys. I'm serious. It's something like that, to where they push their offense in a way where they're trying to throw these passes across court still, where they're trying to, they're missing guys. When Mark Williams has like a mismatch under the paint, they don't throw him the ball. Like, they're just doing things that's like, oh shit, this is happening. Like, we actually have this chance to go up 10 on the Thunder if we just don't turn the ball over, or else we get Mark Williams the ball in an easy basket. Like, they just do certain things where it's just like they don't think they belong till late in the game when they're comfortable and stuff. Then it's just like maybe it's too late at times.
See, I think I get what you're saying, but I think they do think they belong, and that's what makes this Suns team unique. Is they do think they belong. They're just not executing yet to the level to put a victory on the board relative to this. And you see a lot of people are talking about it in the chat. Shout out to David for a $5 super chat. He goes, yes, JV, but no team effort until the fourth quarter. No offensive movement. Then Booker turnover in the fourth, trying to be a hero. Suns played stupidly. So a lot of people are kind of agreeing with you with kind of that thought process. Let's see. Somebody else said it. Mark in the chat says that game was supposed to be closer if we don't miss our free throws and those horrible turnovers, right? So a lot of people are looking at it, because I'll ask you this. Let me start this way before I kind of catapult my point. What was your expectation coming into this game?
I thought we would lose. I thought the Suns would
By
lose.
how much?
I thought we'd lose by 10.
Yeah, I thought we'd lose by 15. You got to remember, the Oklahoma City Thunder are a team that entered 18-1, and they have a point differential of 16 points per game. That means they're beating opposing teams by 16 points in games. And so for me, my expectations entering this game were, I want to see if this team, the Phoenix Suns, are going to compete to the level that they've been competing all year, because they do have that. Nobody cares about us. No one believes in us. We're a bunch of dogs out here, and nobody thinks that will even compete in this game, myself included. And then they go and they have this game where we only lose by 4 points. And I feel like a lot of people are frustrated with the loss. And I go, I'm not, and maybe that's Like, I'm not frustrated with the loss because I thought they were going to lose by fucking 15 points, and they lost by 4 and had a chance where Colin Gillespie almost stole the ball, and they could have tied the game or won the game in the last minute of the game. So they were in it. They competed. They showcased to Oklahoma City Thunder, hey, don't take us lightly. They showcased to the rest of the NBA, don't take us lightly. We do belong in these games. Yes, like every team, they had miscues. Nobody plays a perfect game. They missed free throws. Okay, but if you look at OKC, how many free throws did they end up missing? They missed 4 free throws. We missed 4 free throws. Yes, the turnovers is unfortunate because we had 20 turnovers, which led to 29 points, and they had 10, which led to 12, but they had 10. So it's like, if you're a Thunders fan, you're like, man, if we're not turning the ball over so much, we would have won by more, but at least we won. So I guess, again, it's result based, but I think that, again, based on my expectations, I don't walk away from this frustrated with the loss. I walk away from this going, yeah, take that, OKC. We'll see you in 2 weeks because we're going to be in the NBA Cup playing you again.
Yeah, I don't know. When you put it that way, when I'm like, okay, we're going to lose by 10, I think the way I really look at it going in is, hey, they have SGA, obviously, who's going to take over a game in the fourth quarter, get into the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
They have, Hardenstein's out tonight. If he was playing tonight, obviously, it might have been a different story down in the paint. And it's just the guys they have on there with a couple all-stars. It's on paper, it's like, yeah, it's supposed to be a win by the Thunder. They're streaking right now. They're beating teams easily. But then when you go into the game and it settles down the first quarter, where it's like 25-25, and like, damn, they're gonna have a chance to win this. I think that's when it starts to sink in for me, like as a fan watching it. It's like, just don't fuck this up. Let's have a good game by book. Everyone's gonna probably play their role to the best way to their ability. And I'm like, this should be a victory in the end. Like, that's how I just kind of felt in the first and second quarter. I'm like, this team, I think it's because we haven't seen them play the Thunder yet, and you kind of think like going to OKC with the crowd and stuff like that, it's going to be too much for this team to handle. But once they get there and settle in, it's like, okay, well, I'm thinking like they should win this. We are actually the better team right now. We have the better collective team, and this OKC team goes 9 deep just like us, or 10 deep. So it's like we can kind of match them, and you're just kind of stunned by that. You're like, all right, let's go get it. Let's have these guys step up and take the victory. And that's why I'm just kind of disappointed, because I just feel like it was a winnable game. It's just like the Kings game. It's
it absolutely game. Was.
Take that game. This game, it's in the end for you to take it, and you just kind of blew it.
It absolutely was, and I can understand everything that you're saying, because I felt the same way. After the first quarter, when they kind of threw their punch and then we threw our punch back and it was 25-25, I was like, okay, yeah, we can handle this team, and we're showing them that we can play on their level. But again, to your point, I know that in the fourth quarter, SGA is going to do the SGA things that just are unbelievably frustrating to try to defend, because he jumps into you, creates the contact, yet you're the guy who gets called with the foul. And I love that Eddie made a great point on that offensive foul, or that defensive foul by Devin Booker at the end of the game. It's like, hey, when you jump into somebody, their arms are naturally going to come down, and like it's cause and effect and what have you. And K-Ray made the same point. It's just like, hey, man, like it's just the way they're going to call it. And I'm right there with you. I'm like, man, that we could have got that one. We let one slip away. We could have beat this team. And so, yes, there is disappointment in that capacity, but I just think overall, the way I look at it is I go back to my expectations. And I think that's how I feel about the team just overall in the season. Because a lot of people are just like, okay, well, based on we are now, here's what my expectations are. I'm like, I get that, but I can empathize and understand that. And I have some of that as well. But at the same time, I go back to my preseason expectations, and I got to realize, oh, man, I'm having a great season because we're already exceeding my expectations, and I'm enjoying covering this team, and I'm enjoying having these conversations. I'm enjoying playing OKC and us competing the entire game. Yeah, there was that lull in the third quarter that was primarily self-inflicted, and in the first half when we couldn't hit a three for a long duration of time. I just feel like there's plenty of opportunities to point to as it pertains to how the Suns could have won this game. But at the end of the day, like, OKC is the better team. Like, there's no doubt about it. On paper, in the standings, they're a championship level team, and we hung with them for all 48 minutes. And I walk away from this going, sweet. And I also walk away from this going, fuck, we got to play Denver tomorrow. This sucks.
Yeah, that's one of the worst parts about it, because, I think maybe Dylan Brooks pulled it back a little bit on his energy, just his vocal energy, trying to get in guys' ears. He wasn't really doing that.
Had the same thing on that. Yeah. I got a question about that later.
But I do think, though, this year, I think my expectations have just soared now, and probably no one will agree, but the NBA, like, you've seen it even with the Pacers when they played in the finals last year. You have the attitude, you can probably push a series to 6 against the Thunder. Like, you have something there. You have an ego. You have guys that can knock down threes, guys that are very competitive. it's going to be a long series. And that's going to be the hard thing to take this year, is because I feel like it's really out in the open for a lot of these teams to win the championship. And I know the Thunder and the Nuggets are the best teams out there right now by record. It just seems like they're still beatable. And I don't know why. I can't get it out of my mind. Like, I just feel like the Suns team has a chance, not to win a championship, but to really push these teams in the playoffs. So
I agree.
I think even till the very end, the very last loss this season, I'm going to be expecting a win. I just always am. Like, I know I said I expect them to lose this game, but when I'm in these games, I'm in the playoffs in the middle of it. I'm like, God, dude, I'm going to really just think this team might make it to the next round every time.
And that's what makes a game like tonight. Again, I leave with a positive taste in my mouth, if you will, is because teams around the NBA are learning exactly what you said. Nobody wants to play Phoenix. And that's a great feeling as a fan, because you knew in the past that teams wanted to play Phoenix for multiple reasons. They wanted to play Phoenix because we had big superstar maximum contracted players here who were the idols of the players, and they wanted to play against them and have, their all-star moment, D'ing up Kevin Durant or blocking him or scoring on Bradley Beal. That meant something to them. And they also wanted to play Phoenix because they knew we were soft. This was a soft fucking team for the past 2 years. And now we're a team that nobody wants to play. And tonight just fortifies that narrative. And writers are catching on to it. Like Kirk Goldsberry of The Ringer, he had a great piece, and he was talking about teams to be thankful for Thanksgiving, and the Suns were one of them. He's like, dude, this team is completely different than last year. You know it. I know it. Everybody watching this podcast or listening to this podcast knows it. FanDuel knows it. They've changed the line on them completely. This is a team that was 30.5 over under to begin the season. They're up to 38.5 because the Suns just are competitive in every capacity and still not even healthy. And so, yeah, it's disappointing when I look at that score. I'm like, man, we were so close. Could have gotten over the hump. But I'm also like, yeah, that's just a fortification of what we've continued to see this year, and I like that.
And just really quick, too. I don't think teams anymore, there's not really like a whole blueprint anymore winning from now till you're actually a championship contender. Like, it's not really like, okay, this season you lose the first round, next season, second round, maybe like that.
Yeah.
Like, there are just giant leaps that these teams are taking, like without anybody even noticing. It's like it's not predictable. A lot of teams, man, they're coming up quick. That's why like the Suns window right now, when you're saying championship, like, oh, maybe 3 or 4 years out from now they can get another star. It's like you never know how the NBA is going to go. It can be the next 2 years the Suns are in the finals again, just because based off of their coach, based off their effort that they have, based off the collective group that they have. It's not like you have an absolute superstar, but you have a group of guys that will fight till the end. So maybe that's just enough with the talent they have to force it to the finals, maybe in the next few years. So I don't know. I think the NBA is just going to be totally different within the next few years. We're just going to expect these random teams to make the finals and maybe have a shot to win it.
So that's a great point, and that takes me into my first bright side point.
Tell me the
Bright side.
So I've been thinking about this because obviously the NBA Cup is on the horizon. And I wrote a whole article on Bright Side of the Sun about the Phoenix Suns being in contention for the NBA Cup and how I didn't want them to get in. And I feel like there's some merit to that. You and I talked about it yesterday as we were getting our asses kicked in badminton. And essentially my whole thesis is if you're the first team out, if you don't make the NBA Cup, but you still went 3-1, like the Suns did last year. They didn't make it the NBA Cup last year, the wild card, right? Because it's the 3 division or group winners plus a wild card, 4 teams from each conference. And the Suns were the 5th team because the Dallas Mavericks had a better point differential than the Phoenix Suns. So the reward for the Suns was they got to play the Portland Trailblazers and the Utah Jazz, two grimy teams that were easy victories for the Suns, and they turned out to be as such. And that's what I was kind of hoping for this year. Wrote a whole article on it, and then, thought about it some more. And I still believe in that. But now I have to kind of accept our fate, because our fate is the fact that the Suns will be the wild card in the NBA Cup. Losing to Oklahoma City Thunder, Oklahoma City wins the Group A in the West tonight. The Suns, with the loss, are now 3-1 in group play, but they have the highest point differential. The only other 3-1 team that didn't win their group was the Memphis Grizzlies, who beat the Clippers tonight, I believe. And they have a plus 15 point differential. The Suns have a plus 31. So we're in. which means we're going to have to play OKC again, which kind of sucks. And if we lose that game, we're going to play the loser of the Lakers and the Spurs, right? So it's two tough teams that we have to now play on our schedule versus two easy teams that would have come to us. And I want to pad those stats as much as possible. But fortifying your point, Matthew, I think back to the Pacers 2 years ago, the team that lost in the NBA Cup Finals to the Lakers. But what that moment was to that team, which very similar to the Suns, is just a bunch of guys. A bunch of motherfuckers, because that's who the Indiana Pacers were. That was the moment playing against that level of competition early in the season that cauterized that team. And while they didn't turn it into playoff success that year by going to the finals, although they went to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost to they lost to the Celtics that year, I believe, and then the Celtics won the title. But then last year they go to the finals and they take it to a game 7. And if you trace the origin story of that Pacers team, it kind of starts with the NBA Cup. So as somebody who can't stay in the NBA Cup, just because it doesn't really mean much to me, I don't care. And if the Suns were to win this NBA Cup that they just entered by somehow beating the Oklahoma City Thunder in a rematch, which will occur in OKC, if we win that thing, we better fucking not hang a banner in the Mortgage Matchup Center before ever hanging a banner for the Larry O'Brien Trophy. But
no,
that's
they have to have a vote. It has to be a vote between the players. If they do win, who wants to hang this, or do you want to wait to hang it if we win a championship?
Dude,
Once we win a
the men's
championship,
bathroom on the upper level or something.
Yeah.
Like, let me take a piss and look at it. But look,
but
they won the NBA
don't
Cup.
spotlight it though. Just if you win a championship or something, then hang that one. Maybe then in a few years later, just hang it up and don't even tell anybody and see if anybody notices it. Right? Put it like up there next to the Rattlers. Do they still have their championship?
Yeah,
the Arizona Rattlers. Like, just put it up there next to theirs and see if anybody notices. Because no one cares about that, obviously. The biggest thing is just the money. And the only reason the players want to win is for the money, obviously. And it's a guy like Book saying, like, I just want to win and get these guys an extra $500,000.
Yes.
That's the biggest reason. And obviously, like you said, the competitiveness, it's something that I talked about last night with you, where I'm like, you know what, I'd rather just have the wins. Maybe we play the lesser teams, get a few more wins. But now that I keep talking about just, this team belonging in these games, I still want to see more and more of these games. And it could go south where we end up just a 500 team and then maybe things fall off or something because we just have a 4-game or 5-game losing streak due to the competition. But I just want to see if these guys can pull off a few in a row against teams that really matter, like the Dallas Cowboys.
but that's the plus size of this, right? Because again, if we're talking about preseason expectations, if we're talking about everything that this team is about, they want the challenge. Right? They want to they want to be tested in every way possible. And so it would be very unsuns like to want the easy way out. I just kind of I didn't want them to actively seek the easy way out. I just wanted to find it into their lap. Mark in the chat, this is absurd. Why not celebrate an earned competition? You can celebrate it. Don't hang the fucking banner. The Lakers hung the banner. That's gross.
Champagne and stuff. I feel like this team, I don't think they would do it. I would be disappointed if they pop champagne in the win.
I'd expect them.
They probably have a gun to their head to do it.
Like, what would OKC do?
They would
OKC's
celebrate.
Like, cool, thanks for the hat.
But they would celebrate because they won a championship, so it's okay. I think it's okay
fair.
to have more fun and just take
Fair.
a few more days off because you're hungover. But I don't know. We'll see what the Suns decide to do because we're already picking them to win it. So,
all right, well, that's one of my bright side things. What do you have?
I think I had really just the guys around Booker and obviously Dylan Brooks. I won't go across all of them at once, but I just want to say as a collective group, hitting big shots, and I just think they're always counted on at the end of the games. And Booker has been struggling. Obviously, we'll talk about in the burn book, I'm sure, but these guys are just hitting big shots, man. They're coming up with big rebounds. They're not fouling in crucial situations. They're always making the right play. There might be a few turnovers here or there by Colin Gillespie, but as a group, man, these guys are really filling those holes. And I think they've been so consistent so far within 20 games that you can just say that this is an actual team that can rely on these guys constantly after game. And it doesn't even matter. Like it books out of the game and there's a lineup with Oso and Goodwin in there. I'm feeling great. We have a ball handler. We have a guy now in Oso who can sometimes finish around the rim. He can get the big offensive rebound. He could be the guy on the weak side coming in for a dunk. Like, these guys collectively have just been great overall. So I just have to throw them in one big group right now.
I agree with you. Like, I can't go individually, I mean, I could, but like you said, Colin Gillespie hitting a career high in 3-pointers in this game. Jamari Bouye coming in there, just giving valuable points, man. I mean, that guy, he ended playing a total of 14 minutes tonight. Like, those are great 14 minutes that he's out there. He's just, like I said before on the last podcast, in my observations of him with the Valley Suns, a guy who the Suns signed as a two-way player from the Austin Spurs. So he comes from the Spurs, and he went to the University of San Francisco. Can you name the two most famous centers to come from the University of San Francisco?
It was it wasn't Kareem. Was it Kareem?
No, he went to UCLA.
It was Bill. What is his name from the Celtics?
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell. It was one of the centers back
correct.
then. Is it Bill Russell? And then
Bill Russell's correct.
I'm picturing like some kind of guard, but I don't know. Who is it?
It's another Bill. It's a center. Another Bill. Bill Cartwright.
Bill Cartwright. Okay.
So Bill Cartwright.
Okay.
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell. Yeah.
Will Chamberlain. Will Chamberlain went to Kansas. Yeah. But yeah, so from the University of San Francisco, so Bouye, just impactful minutes and much needed, again, considering the fact that Jalen Green's hurt and Grayson Allen's hurt. And then seeing Jordan Goodwin, man. Jordan Goodwin was just absolutely fantastic. Rolled his ankle, unfortunately, in this one, which is upsetting because, again, we probably won't see him tomorrow night, which sucks because he was very, very valuable. But here's a good stat for you.
Ooh, dang, stat me.
So Jordan Goodwin, right now, already has more offensive rebounds this season than Kevin Durant had for the Suns last season. Isn't that impressive?
Yeah, I love it. And I love talking shit about KD. So yeah, just joking. It's very impressive. And I did point him out quickly before, but he hits big shots almost every game now.
Dude, he is a dog.
Incredible. Like he plays, he'll have a tip in where I think it's Mark Williams in there. Like how high he gets and just how big he looks when he's getting those. Yeah, I get confused who it is. So
he'll get tip-ins on double tip-ins. Like he'll tip one in, he'll miss it, and then he'll tip it again and get it in. I'm like, whoa, dude! Like, is anybody out there trying to box that guy out? So, mad props to him. Anything else you have for the bright side topics?
For bright side, nothing too much. I think I just talked about the learning ways. I think the fact that this team will act like they belong in these games early on might come along because when they started 1-4, the turnovers were bad. They were down by 20. They adjusted. I knew I was there. The next step is really just kind of belonging in these games early on. And I think just, I just noticed how they match up so well in the first quarter to the Thunder. Both teams struggled from the field, but stats were like almost identical down the line, and they go 9 deep. So it's like they can hang going 9 deep against the Thunder, and I love seeing that.
Yep. I was going to make a point there. Oh, my last bright side topic is was DMing on Twitter today with Suns owner Matt Ishbia,
very sexy.
Who asked what he can do to support Dave King's Brightside Night. So if you haven't done so and you want to send an underprivileged kid to go see the Phoenix Suns play in person on Tuesday, January 27th against the Brooklyn Nets, you can go to suns.com/brightside and make a donation. And every donation will be matched by the Suns, and they'll send somebody to a game.
That's
and
awesome.
so
Here's another bright side.
What up, kitty? What up, cat?
Just jump right up here.
That's Cat Ishbia. Totally different.
The Suns Jam session. Burn book.
The Suns Jam session. Burn book.
All right, Matthew, you were a little bit more disappointed than me, so I'll let you start with the burn book topics. What do you got?
Well, I think the Suns got kind of frustrated. There was that frustration foul by Devin Booker in the second, and Dylan Brooks was kind of out of his game. I think you're going to talk about him a little bit too, but they seem a little frustrated with the refs, and I think it comes down just to the fouls. The fouls were like even across the board almost the whole game, except for the Suns were actually up 10-5 a little bit earlier on, but the fouls are going to be always a thing with the Thunder, and I think the Suns need to lay off. They have to know that, it's not really their game, but they can get into that game at times. It's been as of late where they're getting more and more calls, but just relax. I think him and Dylan Brooks, they had a few frustration fouls, and I think it kind of killed the Suns there a few times when they're kind of trying to come back and tie the game, and you don't want to see that in these type of games. And those are always the things that I'm like tiptoeing around. I'm like, oh my God, the Suns are like a 5-0 run. Don't fuck it up. And then just some mental cases like that. And I don't think it's really been a thing this season, but just tonight. And I'm like, if the level of competition is the Thunder and then you're going against the Nuggets, like I think just keep your composure. And I think it threw them out of their game. And that's when they just kind of spiraled a little bit. And I just, it was one of those things I just had a hard time with. And I hope that Book of old used to always have those fouls or frustration because he wasn't getting fouled. But it's just like, you can't do that against a team like that. You can't make the little mistakes because it's going to cost you big.
So kind of going off of what you said.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Big Dick Booker.
5 of 13 for Devin Booker in this game. He was 2 of 7 from beyond the arc, 9 of 11 from the free throw line. He had 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block shot, 5 personal fouls, 5 turnovers. So Booker's been struggling, and we've been competing, which is, again, it's a sign of a good team. And we know that once Devin Booker kind of snaps out of this slump that he's in, which we know that he can do, it's going to bode well for the Suns and their success. But he's got to start snapping out of it. And I know that we played the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I'm kind of at that edge, Matthew. I'm kind of at that edge of having a full-blown Devin Booker rant on the podcast about how 5 of 13 is not going to cut it. When this team needs somebody to step up, it has to be him, and it has to be him consistently. Now, the only reason why I'm on the edge is because he had a solid fourth quarter, right? He had 7 points. He had, 4 rebounds. He had 3 assists, 1 steal. He had a couple turnovers in the fourth, but he had a solid fourth quarter. But leading up to that, I was very much on the edge of going, you know what? This could be the pod. This could be the one where I'm like, dude, Devin, we need you to be the guy for prolonged periods of time. And I get that defenses are throwing shit at you, and maybe the coach Ott needs to do a better job of scheming you open, but you also have to have the ability to impose your will, because we're seeing night in and night out opposing teams having one guy on their team who can execute all the things that I just said, who are schemed open, who know how to impose their will. And when the team needs them, they can hit the shot. Because there was a couple times in this game, in the second half, where Devin Booker had an opportunity to hit a 3 that would have got us to within 1 point or got us within four points or what have you. And he was 1 of 4 from beyond the arc in that second half. And it's just like, it's bored. Like, I'm close, Matthew. I'm close, man.
Yeah, I could feel it coming. I think I had mine 2 games ago, or maybe last game. I'm not sure. But the last 5 games, I mean, he's shooting 33% from the field, 27, almost 28% from 3. It's brutal.
How many turnovers?
And, turnovers, he's averaging, I got to scroll over. He has 19, so 4 per game, which is about normal for Booker. But 19 points per game. But it's not really always about that for me with the stats. It's just the way, the level of play. Can he put his team in a situation to continue to succeed? He doesn't do that at all. And I think when you have guys like Gillespie and Goodwin like rolling their ankles and stuff, trying to fight for every basket in this game or fight for every turnover, it is frustrating, because every time he checks out or Gillespie checks out, Booker's like, oh, fuck yeah, good game, right? Pats him on the chest. But it's like, what are you going to do for me, Book? He hasn't filled in those voids where we need another guy to step up. And a lot of guys I see in the chat, I'm not even going to click on it, there's just like the double teams are coming, and I talked about it before. It is a thing. But when you're paying a guy $72 million upcoming, like, it's just, it has to happen to where this guy's coming through.
He's getting paid $53 million. That's a lot. Well, he's the guy.
He's getting $72 million, which is ridiculous.
I know, but
he's only averaged 19 points a game in the last 5 games.
I get that, but again, I think that
in the West, if he was good,
I completely agree. But again, I don't like throwing that $72 million number out there yet, because it's all about percentage of the cap. And right now he's making 14% of the cap, which is $53 million. He'll make 14% of the cap in 3 years, which is projected to be $73 million. So the important number is, this guy is 14% of your cap. He needs to account for more than 14% of your points, because he's not even accounting for that right now, right? 21 points. We scored 119 tonight, right? What's the quick math on that? 21 divided by 119. Okay, 18%. We'll allow it. But still, there's got to be more value. There's got to be more price for value paid, because he is $53 million this year, and you will be paying him 3 years down the line $73 million when he is going to be 3 years older than he is right now. And when you're paying somebody that much amount of money, you need to kind of get an ROI, right? You need to have a return on investment. I don't want to sound callous or anything like that to look at it through that kind of perspective, but that's just reality. That's the hard tax. Now, again, we know Booker goes through these slumps. It happens about twice a season. I feel like there's about a 6 or 7 game stretch where it's just like, he's averaging 21 or he's averaging 24, and we're used to him averaging like 27 or 28, but it matters, because like Emax says in the chat, like SGA gets whatever he wants. Now I know that SGA is an MVP, and it's hard to compare Devin Booker to him, and we had this conversation a couple pods ago where it's like we can never expect Devin Booker to be an MVP candidate because he's just simply not. He doesn't have the physical tools necessary to be an NBA candidate, but what he does have, and his one elite skill that he possesses, is an elite jumper. And he needs to knock that down because that's where he's hurting. Well, you just said it, Matthew. Past few games, he's averaging 33.3% from the field. This is one of the elite shooters in the league. He's got to be better.
Yeah, and he was saying SGA gets whatever he wants. And we were saying 2 years ago, or like SGA, people think he's better than Booker. That was like out of question here in Phoenix. It's like SGA is better than Booker. What? Yeah, fuck yeah, he is. And he is consistent throughout the whole year. This is the reason why these guys get respect and Booker doesn't. This is why Booker makes stupid fucking ugly shoes all the time and sells them for $500,000. And then we have to buy them every time they come out every week. And then he can't even fucking put up a good game against these guys.
I will say SGA shoes are way uglier.
Hey, I'm just saying that I don't give a fuck about the shoes. And I bring up the shoes every time because I get frustrated with Booker and I get really mad. And everyone last year, it was like we were always on Kevin Durant, but like Booker is getting to the point where I'm just like, I don't know. What can you get in return from this dude? If he's not going to be the guy to get you, like if this is going to be a thing this year, then I'm done again. I can't stand it, dude, because you have a team that's fighting hard for this dude. And he can't come through to get any good looking shots. He's double teamed. He's double teamed most of the time because he throws himself in the paint, doesn't know what the fuck to do. So he can keep yelling at his teammates because they have to be over on that side or set a better screen, whatever. But whatever, I don't know. I just get so frustrated with this man.
Dylan, the villain.
Funny, I'm like, I'm on close to the edge. You're already over the edge.
Yeah, I dove in.
Dylan Brooks tonight ends with a total of 19 points. Like I said, 6 of 18 from the field to get those 19 points. 5 personal fouls. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers. Here was my thing on this, and you might be right that he might be saving some of his energy because he has to play against the Denver Nuggets tomorrow. But like, I feel like he was muted because he's playing against his countrymen. Like, he's playing against SGA, he's playing against Lou Dort. Those guys are all on Team Canada together. Like, normally he comes out and he has an edge and he's in people's faces. The only time he was in anybody's faces, he barked at Abraham Lincoln a couple times after Chet Holmgren after one play. And that was like all I really saw from the aggressive standpoint. So do you think that it's more of he's resting himself and getting ready to go at Jokic tomorrow or Jamal Murray tomorrow night? Or do you think that it's more of, yeah, I have a mutual respect for these guys, so I don't need to yell at them and harass them the way I do people like James Harden?
Well, he couldn't really get into the rhythm tonight offensively. I think that kind of helps him down the line. That sometimes he'll start the game off strong, really talking a lot, being loud, but he could never get into a rhythm offensively. That kind of helps him down the line. But when you're coming to the game against the Thunder, SGA, it doesn't matter what you do to the dude. He's going to get his shot. He's going to get his points, right? I think he kind of feeds into these guys that are actual real shooters coming down, trying to knock down threes. But when it's SGA trying to get to the line every time and just he pulling off these one-handed jumpers and getting fouled and just hitting off the glass like constantly throughout the whole year, like, you know what you're going to get. So I don't really think he has a guy to go after. And I think you're right. He's Canadian, or whatever.
Alex Caruso. Him and Caruso, man, that would have been like a battle royale.
Doesn't he always just go after the guys that are like the real true shooters, though? The guys that can get hot, right?
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes it works, and sometimes he just enrages them more, and they become better.
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling it from him tonight, and it wasn't like because he wasn't doing it. I was like, I don't feel like this is the game. Like OKC is the weirdest team. They're obviously championships, but they're the most boring team across the board at times. They're the funniest looking team out there, and obviously they can win games at ease by getting to the free throw line, getting calls, or just relying on their defense. But it's never a sexy game where you go into the matchups like, oh, I can't wait till Dylan Brooks matches up with him. It's like, who, SGA? Like, yeah, that doesn't seem fun. It just doesn't seem like the right time to do it.
No, you're right. What else you got in the burn book?
Okay, we talked about turnover and stuff like that. I think I had it. I think I was thinking about like a team kind of giving up when they don't have their guy like Booker kind of shining, and making the big shots and stuff. Like this team doesn't do that. I think it's easy for a team to give up and be like, "Oh, our
Yes.
guy doesn't have it," but they don't
Yeah,
do that.
that was the Suns
So,
last year.
yeah,
Like
that
I
was.
remember
They
when
would
they
give
played OKC last year. Remember, it was right. I went and saw, I think, Mariah Carey that night, and I watched the game at a bar right outside the stadium, and like they were just demoralizing because they're so good
Yeah.
defensively, and the Suns, you could see them just get flustered, demoralized, and they just gave up. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. That's who our team is. Fantastic.
You kind of saw that in the third though today. You a little bit, and it
felt like
wasn't
it was
really a complete give up, but there was a stretch there where we're down by 15,
Mhm.
and you're just like, all right, I think this team is actually done tonight. And I actually thought it was due to Booker just playing poorly and not having Dylan Brooks's ugly shot go in. Like I was like, maybe they just know that they don't have the energy. They kind of want to save it for the next game, but it was completely opposite after a few timeouts. So I don't know. I was confused in this game because I really thought they were done.
Yeah, I did too. I thought the dam had broke.
Yeah,
You know,
I
because
did.
it's what it felt like. The whole first half was kind of like you could feel the pressure of the water behind the dam and you could start to see the cracks, but it was holding, and then in the third quarter, the dam kind of broke. But to the Suns' credit, they continued to fight as they always do. And I truly and utterly appreciate that about this team.
Love you guys.
Subreddit.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
If you need a unit, we've got you covered. NettlesAirs.com is where to go, brother. Call 623-444-48. Nettles Air makes your home feel great.
All right. What was going on in the Oklahoma City Thunder subreddit tonight, Matthew?
Well, I said I love you guys, but obviously I don't really mean that. There was
Yes.
a guy commenting saying, I love you all. And I said, fuck this guy. I never want to see anything about someone loving anybody in the subreddit. That's not what it's there for, right? That's not what social media is for. Actually, Reddit's not really social media, but no one should ever be loved. James Caper is a bitch. So obviously the ref of today. And I think it kind of started happening when the Suns were getting calls flipped the other way due to complaining and stuff like that. And someone mentioned Suns are making calls for the refs now. Laughed my ass off. And it seemed like they were there for a little bit. And the whole ref thing was crazy on subreddit, but the Thunder still had more free throws and stuff. So I don't know.
Isn't that funny though?
It's
That's
crazy.
the
It's
interesting
so
thing I
weird.
find about the Oklahoma City Thunder fan base, because I've interacted with them a couple times last playoff run when I would just put out tweets and make observations, and they jump down my throat. I'm like, listen, man, I am an unbiased. Like, I'm just watching this team from afar. Like, I don't care who wins or who doesn't win. I'm just noting that SGA is a foul hunter. And then, and they get so in their feelings anytime a call doesn't go their way. It's like, dude, you guys poke and prod. And I mean, you're the blueprint that the Suns are trying to follow as it pertains to pressure and disruption. It comes with the territory. Fouls occur, but when you talk to them, they think that they are infallible of committing fouls.
It doesn't make sense to me. And if I'm a fan of SGA, I would love it because we won a championship. We have a guy that can complete games, and who cares about what the other team's doing, dude?
I know,
you guys
right?
always get yours. So just leave it at that. Someone said early Christmas gift from the sis, and they posted an ugly ass hat of OKC. The ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. They got a lot of upvotes.
Did it really?
Yeah, it was ugly as hell. So I'm just.
He's got the worst logo, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gross. We know that.
It's disgusting, man. Chet going coast to coast is like a baby giraffe on skates. I think we've said that a few times, but he had that one early. I think it was in the first quarter.
Yeah.
He's trying to
And
go
the only
down
reason he did
Got a
is because
foul.
Devin Booker
Yeah.
had 2 fouls, and so Booker
Yeah.
just got out of the way.
Yep, exactly. Whose uncle is cooking us? They're talking about God, Booyah.
Booyah!
Booyah. God, I was
Yeah.
gonna say Bayou. I'm so bad with his name. I don't know what's wrong with me, dude.
Keep playing Booyah, and we'll continue to work on
Oops.
it. Maybe you'll get a Booyah drop.
Yeah. Yeah, Booyah making Caruso look old. Yep. We'll face these guys again in the quarterfinals. Great effort from the Suns.
Word.
And,
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Shit, we'll face them sooner than that. We'll face them in the knockout round in the NBA Cup. And I'm still waiting for them to update exactly when the NBA Cup, when we'll play them, because there's going to be games on Tuesday, December 9th, and then Wednesday, December 10th. So I don't know if we're playing on the 9th or the 10th, but it will be in OKC. because, again, the Memphis Grizzlies beat the LA Clippers by 5 points. That gives them a plus 15-point differential, and the Suns only lost by 4 to the Thunder tonight, and so that gives them a plus 31-point differential. So the Suns make it into the NBA Cup with a point differential of plus 17 to do it. So it's the second time in the first 3 seasons of the NBA Cup that the Suns have made it into the NBA Cup. Now, last time we lost both those games.
Yeah, I love it.
Gotta love it.
I love it. Well, actually, do you actually like it a little bit or no? Because I still don't.
I just don't care. I
just don't care.
But I get what they're doing, and again, I'm not the person they're trying to impress. That's what I've come to the conclusion of, because tonight is a night. Tonight's the night of nights. Tonight is like the day after Thanksgiving. Every team in the NBA is playing. They're trying to own tonight with NBA Cup games that matter, and no one gives a shit. Or maybe they do. I don't know. But I know that I'm not their audience, because I'm the hardcore NBA fan who watches every Suns game, writes about the team, is aware of what's going on in the league. And so I can see through the fallacy and the farce that it is. Whereas perhaps the casual fans like, ooh, fancy court. What's up with the green parquet in Boston? Ooh, I like the uniforms. Like, maybe that's what they want to capture the casual fan. And then somebody like me has to answer the question of what's going on. And I'm like, well, you see the point differential is plus 17. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I don't know anymore. Wait till I try to explain what the fuck they're doing on with the All-Star game now. So again, it's like, I'm not the audience for it. And I also just don't care.
Yeah, I think that the winner of it should choose 2 games in the season where they can just get an automatic win, because a lot of these teams always are basically just flunking the season late in the season. It's like, what 2 games do you want to just take off and it's an automatic win because you won the cup? I think that would be awesome.
I don't care about this so much. I'm done trying to fix it. That's how much.
Well,
I don't care.
That's the thing, is they keep trying to fix this and they keep trying to fix the All-Star break. So it's a continuous. Maybe that's why they do it. The conversation, and I enjoy it sometimes. I like to try to fix stuff. Except for the sneak, I still haven't fixed that. I don't know why.
We'll fix it.
I do know why.
Jam star of the game.
The Jamster, subscribe, rate, and review. Matthew, who you giving the Jam star to?
Well, who did I notice the most tonight?
That's the question.
I'm going to give it to. I have to give it to Calypsi, I think. But
I do too.
Jordan Goodwin's really close.
He is, and I think if he had played
plays.
the remainder of the game, he probably would have got it. But like 24 points from Gillespie, 6 of 11, career high in points, career high in 3-pointers made.
3-pointers, yeah.
And he was the one who was hitting back tonight.
Yeah.
Because the challenge with OKC, what did they end up doing in the second half as it pertains to total 3-pointers? I feel like they weren't missing. They were 9 of 17, dude. Now, we were 9 of 22, but they were 9 of 17. 53% in the second half. This is a team that came in 16th in 3-point shooting. And I felt like it wasn't like they were getting a ton of wide open shots. The Suns were forced. That's what you want OKC to do.
Yeah.
You want to force them into shooting threes, and we did, and they were fucking knocking them down. And it was Colin Gillespie who was just going mono, okay? The Suns had 9 made threes in the second half. Colin Gillespie had 5 of those, and Royce O'Neal had 3, and Booker had 1.
And that's another thing. Pass the fucking ball. Like, find those guys. They're hot.
Yes.
Like, Dylan Brooks does not have it. And I like I like him taking shots, but
he was 0 of 6 from beyond the arc in the second half.
Yeah. You started out okay, but 0 for 6 was just, you got to pass it. You got to move it along. And then Royce O'Neal's hitting off the back of the glass.
Yeah.
Like, the guy's getting lucky. Like, just give him the ball. He was hitting huge shots. That's what he's there for.
He had an opportunity. He hit 1 3. Then he hit the bank shot. And then they passed him the ball. And if he had just fired it late in the game, it could have put us up by 1. But he passed it over to Booker, and then Booker held the ball for an isolation set. That led to something in the corner. But
wasn't that a turnover when he got double teamed and he got tipped? Because Book had 2 turnovers late in the game.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of them. And I'm like, dude, Royce he's feeling it. He's in rhythm. Just fire the shot, man. You're feeling it. All right, up next for the Suns tomorrow night, they're playing the Denver Nuggets, a team that just lost to the Spurs and will not be participating in the NBA Cup. The Denver, first time we're seeing Denver this season. A solid team. Currently carries the 3rd seed in the West at 13-5. Best offensive rating in the league. 14th defense. Jokic is a monster. Second night of back-to-back. We're probably not going to have Mark Williams. Is this a game where, like, Booyah should just start, and we should just like sit everybody. Like shit.
Well, I mean, I think we keep thinking that, but going into this, you kind of think if there's a little bit of fight in the first quarter like this one, where you might get some calls, and it might not be a game where Jokic gets every foul call, because that's what Jokic and SGA do, right? They own the refs. They own the game because they own the refs.
Yes, they do.
If you can just kind of get ahead of that early in the game, you might have a little bit of a chance. But Mark Williams, it's always kind of like, I wish he would just play the back-to-back, but he plays so hard, and I feel like he's always a guy at the end of the game.
Fantastic in this game,
trying to he's always trying to chase down like the last steal to kind of seal the game, or to grab the lead or tie the game. Like he's always in there to end the game. He's so athletic. He moves like a wing sometimes, and I think he just deserves this. I don't complain about that because I feel like he kind of deserves it right now, and I think the way that they're actually kind of maneuvering this is very, very smart for the Suns.
They are.
But I think it's I don't know. I don't know if Book comes through. I guess we said this before last game. I don't really care, dude, with Book right now. So
well, we know one thing
something, but it's
about tomorrow night. Happen. We know that the team's going to compete their ass off. I'm guessing Jordan Goodwin won't be available. I mean, he turned his ankle and then he went to the locker room.
Look bad. Was he celebrating?
No, he was celebrating. Then he was trying to get back on defense, and he stepped on SGA's foot. So it wasn't celebrate. He celebrated. He backpedaled, and he realized, like, I got to get back on defense. Stepped on SGA's foot. He's out. He went to the locker room. We didn't see him again. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him. I'm interested to see if we see Grayson Allen, because Grayson Allen was doubtful today,
which is not good, right?
Well, he was out before, so he got upgraded from out to doubtful. So
questionable.
He might be questionable tomorrow, and then Monday we play at the Lakers. He might be playing by the Lakers. So it looks like Grayson's on the mend, and we're still 2 to 4 weeks out on having Jalen Green back. But we know they're going to compete. It's going to be another good barometer test for the Suns. The unfortunate thing is if they lose tomorrow in this week, week 6 in the NBA, we've played the Rockets, the Kings, OKC, and the Thunder. If we lose tomorrow, we're 1-3 in this week, and we lost to 3 teams ahead of us in the standings. And that's, again, we talk about the fight that this team has, and they have it. It's beating those good teams that matters. And at least we're not Minnesota, because Minnesota is like 10-0 against shitty teams and 0-10 against good teams, or whatever their record is.
I was just going to say
at least we're not that team, you know?
And they already have the trade rumors and stuff with Ant and stuff. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on with that team. The Warriors, like, those two teams are behind the Suns, and the way that those teams' locker rooms are kind of meshing right now, it seems like I kind of figured the West would have the stronger strength of record heading to the end of the season, like the end of the season. But it just seems like the Warriors, the Timberwolves, those are the last 2 good teams behind the Suns, and they just are kind of depleting, I feel like, at times. And, you know, the Wolves have lost 3 in a row. So it's one of those things where the Suns can keep this 6th seed if they just manage it and win these winnable games and stay competitive against these teams that are ahead of them, like you said.
Exactly. That's the key. So we'll see you tomorrow night, Jamsters. Oh, real quick, before we get out of here, I do want to give a congratulations to the Arcadia Titans. They are going to the state title game for 4A football. It's where I went to high school. It's where Linda Carter and Steven Spielberg went to high school.
Linda Carter, the one that flew planes that was blind?
No. Wonder Woman.
Oh, Wonder Woman.
70s or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. She graduated with my mom. My mom's class is 69. Yeah. So, but yeah, they're playing for their first football title, I think, fucking ever. They were horrible when I was there. I didn't play football. The team, I'm so glad I didn't play football for Arcadia. Like my junior year, they were defeated. Like they went 0-11. Like we go to parties afterwards, and the football players all show up just all pissed off. I'm like, you guys suck. I've been drinking for an hour and a half already. But yeah, they played December 3rd at where ASU lost to the U of A tonight.
Okay.
So yeah, going for a state title. I'm gonna have to get tickets to that.
Oh yeah. You should go. I think one of the dogs just farted behind me. So.
Oh, well, let's go ahead and get out of here. Tell them what to do.
Go and love your farts.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.